What a great song that was. That was the Wallflowers, One Headlight. Absolutely awesome tune. I hope you're enjoying the lineup of music today. I know I really am. It lifts me up, feels me inspired, positive, motivated, all that other good stuff. Quite often we have to reach out to other things to do it for us. And music is an absolutely fabulous way to do that. So, now it is one of my favorite times of the day, which is time for the good news. Oh my gosh, it's been an absolutely awesome weekend here. Have you ever heard of the Hash House Harriers? I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about them or not. I notice I'm a little wheezy today, and this is a result of me going on a Hash House Harrier run yesterday. Walk, run, whatever. So we are runners with a drinking problem and drinkers with a running problem. We like our beer, and we like physical activity. Or do we just like physical activity to get to the beer? I don't know, but we did a really fun thing yesterday. So the Hash House Harriers is a worldwide organization, and it is all over the world. It started actually in Thailand, I believe. And our chapter, our chemical waste chapter, we call it chemical waste because we're here in Sarnia, Ontario, the most polluted city in Canada, which also could have something to do with why I wheeze. Anyways, so we did a onesie run. It was so very cool. So there was, I don't know, a dozen of us. I've seen as many as 30 of us doing the onesie run. So we all dressed up in onesies, and it was really cool. We went, had a couple beers, and then we walked for, this is a really short run, like, my son and I were the hares, that's how you play. And so we laid the run, we were in charge of the run, and we like beer more than we like exercise, so it was a short run. So we had some beers, then we walked to the first stop, which was they're both backyard stops. You slam a couple beers, and it's illegal, in their yard, and then walk without beer to the second spot. There were some runners, but I wasn't one of them. And then the second location, it was really funny. So everybody's got these onesies on. So I had like a cow one on. I had teats. It was exciting. There was 4 or 5 pigs. There was Rob, my son. He was dressed like Batman, which was very cool onesie. There was another guy that just wore like the white paper suits. My sons are insulators. That's what they wear, these white paper suits. So one gentleman came and wore that. Excuse me. And then there was a Chewbacca. And some animals. You got to have some animals, right? So we go to the second stop. We stop at the neighbors. We go into the backyard or down the driveway, whatever. Of course, I'm not the front runner. So Chewbacca and a pig, these two guys in these onesies, it's like 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Poor guy next door, he's coming out. I don't know if he's sneaking out for a smoke or smoking a joint or what he's doing. But he comes, and he comes outside. He's got a red robe on. No, nothing covering his legs, no shoes, no socks, nothing on his feet. We're in Canada. It's November. It was a nice day to walk around with a onesie on, over top my jeans and my shirt, but it was not necessarily a good day to be out on cement in your robe, just in your underwear. Throwing him a bone, no pun intended, that he had his underwear on. So funny. He says, I guess he comes out in the yard, and he sees these two run into the backyard. So you go up the driveway, which is on a hill, and there's a car at the top, and the case of beer is in a cooler on the other side of the car. These guys know how we roll. We've been hashers for years. As soon as you're getting close to the beer, you pick up your pace. And then there's an arrow. We do everything with like chalk or flour. So they would come along the sidewalk, do. Cars are honking, whatever. And then they come up the driveway, get to the top, see the case of beer. Woo, we're at the case of beer. And the guy that gets there first always gets more beer. Because by the time Slowpoke Michelle gets there, they've already got a beer or two into them, which is great, right? Like, I could care less. So I guess this guy comes out And the pig and the Chewbacca ran up on him. And there's just a chain link fence between them. And he actually rubbed his eyes and shook his head like, OMG, am I still drunk? I guess it was the funniest thing. And then he looks at them and he goes, am I actually seeing Chewbacca in my backyard? Oh my gosh, I wish I would have been there. I wish I would have been there with my camera. That would have been priceless. So it was a wonderful time. If you're here, send me a message. I'll have you out to a run if you like beer. If you're not here, check it out in your area. Every major city has a hash house harriers. When we do runs, the onesie run is only once a month. Or once a year, rather. But we do runs minimum once a month. They are so much fun. And then after your beer stops, you just go back to wherever. And we drank some more beer. And I made some jungle juice. And we had some pizza. And I was home by 8 o'clock ready for a nap. It was great. It was a great time. If you're looking for something different to do, definitely check that out. So, I had a meeting at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Then carried on to do the hash. Lots of laughing. So I'm a little wheezy today, so bear with me. But I appreciate your patience. Thank you so very much. So, on that note, let's check out some good news going on in the world. So, let's see what's really cool. This is pretty cool. Oh, you know, miracles happen every day, right? And you know, miracles are not just for the Bible. They are not just for some book or just for somebody's personal story. They're happening all the time. And you have to follow your inspired thoughts. You have to follow your emotion, right? Whatever it is that you're thinking about something. So this is pretty cool. After 2 babies were switched at birth 39 years ago in Moldova, their families found out the truth for the first time in October. The mothers of Valentina Suman and Tatiana Muradian, it sounds good, were put in the same hospital room on March 27th, 1978. But when nurses removed the babies to give them a bath, they reportedly returned the girls to the wrong mothers. After Suman and Muradian left the hospital, they both had trouble eating and would constantly cry for the first few months. But neither mother suspected it was because the babies weren't theirs. Anatoly Lashter, the son of Vera and Nikolai Lashter, said his family had always heard rumors that the sister he grew up with may be the other woman's child, but they initially brushed the rumors off. It wasn't until, 1999, when the Lashter family was getting ready to move to the U.S., that they began to take the rumors seriously. A neighbor that knew both families approached them about the switch. She knew us. She knew the other family, and she knew that both kids were having problems after the hospital, Lashter told InsideEdition.com. As they grew up, I guess you could tell that the other kid looked a lot like our family, and the kid that we had looked like their family. Can you imagine? The Lashter family decided to look for the other family before they left the country, but couldn't find them before they relocated to the U.S. When the family, who are now spread apart between North Carolina and Ohio, would return to Moldova over the years, however, they would still search for the family. In August, the searching paid off. A neighbor was able to give the family a name, Valentina Suman. Lashter's sister, who he grew up with, and his younger sister, Victoria, searched the name on Facebook and found a match. After asking Suman her birthplace and age, Muradian asked her to send over baby pictures. Upon seeing the pictures, the Lashter family was pretty sure the rumors had been true. Suman looked like their family. In October, after Suman contacted the Russian television show that does DNA tests, Lashter was able to meet his long-lost sister for the first time. The DNA test confirmed the rumors. Lashter's sister, who he grew up with, was also able to meet her biological mother after 39 years on the show. Wow, their biological father had passed away just before she got a chance to meet him. Wow. We went backstage and met the first time, and we hugged and cried. It was one of those experiences that you know just doesn't happen a lot, and when it does, you'll never forget it. Everybody was crying, she said. Lasher said he now talks to his biological sister every day and hopes to bring her to the U.S. soon. The family has started a GoFundMe page to help with the costs. Meridian hopes to do the same thing for her biological mother. Lasher said the love he has for his sister will never change. I talked to her and told her nothing changes between us. The only difference is I gain a sister. We are brother and sister. We love her, and nothing is ever going to change that. Isn't that cool? And you know, things get righted. Sometimes it takes a long time, but when you are missing people in your life, whether you know it or you don't know it, if you just have faith and go with those inspired thoughts, they were inspired. They knew, right? Something just wasn't rhyming right, and they just knew, and they ran with it. You know, anybody who's listened to me speak before, I have a similar story where I have 6 brothers and sisters. I'm number 6 of 7. 7 children in 9 years with 3 fathers. And 4 of us were put up for adoption, and 3 of us stayed with our birth mother. Like, we were all in and out of Children's Aid at different times, but eventually 3 of them went back, and 4 of us didn't. We were all put in separate homes, all throughout Ontario, but none of us ever knew each other growing up, and it's a fantastic story that I'm not getting into the whole thing right now because it would, like, take over the whole news, but we weren't all adopted out. We all went different ways. We all had completely different names. Some of us, first, like, I wasn't born a Michelle even, like, my name was completely changed. And by the time all of us were 25, we'd reunited by a series of miracles. I've met them all now. Unfortunately, we're across Canada, so a couple of them I've only met twice in my whole life, but I can be grateful that I've met them 2 times. And like I said, it was a series of miracles. So if you're missing somebody in your life, do not lose faith. You never know. You never know when you'll be in the right place at the right time. Okay, so this is cool. This is a pretty hot topic. Wild animals will never again be forced to dance or perform in circus shows in India, thanks to a new piece of legislation passed earlier this week. The nation's Central Zoo Authority passed an order stating that circuses could no longer be allowed to use wild animals for exhibition or performance. Additionally, it announced that they would be deregistering several circuses following a year-long investigation into animal rights violations under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act from 1960. While monkeys, lions, bears, and tigers were all banned from being used for entertainment in 1998, elephants could still technically be utilized in the shows. A recent evaluation that was conducted by the CZA and supported by animal rights organizations found that none of the elephants being used in India's circuses were free from humane violations. Oh dear. In light of these violations, there's now no circuses that are registered by the Body of India. The court-ordered cancellation notice states that the entertainment groups that have been warned for their violations in previous years still made no effort to correct them. All the elephants that are previously used in shows will now be going to wildlife rehabilitation centers. Very good. That's what we need, right? So that is also very cool. And then our last story, gotta love the random acts of kindness. Anyone who's ever been trick-or-treating before is familiar with when you find a bowl sitting out on the household steps, promising candy, only to discover that it's empty. It's happened, right? Hayden Chappelle of Idaho Falls experienced this exact same scenario while trick-or-treating on Halloween this year, except he responded to it by doing something that was even more awesome than his costume. The Robertson family had left the bowl of candy out on their stoop so they could take their daughter trick-or-treating. They also left a sign that said, "Do a trick and take a treat and smile. You're on camera." The Robertsons say that they like leaving out the camera because it's fun to review the footage later and see the kids make goofy faces and doing little stunts. What a great idea. When they were playing the video later that night, however, they were disappointed to see one of the kids taking the rest of the candy and leaving the bowl empty. But they weren't disappointed for long. After a few minutes, Hayden walked up to the bowl with his mother, Heather. 11-year-old Hayden, who is dressed as 11 from the Netflix series Stranger Things, saw that the bowl was empty, did a little jump twirl as a trick, and started to walk away. Then he saw that there were some other children coming towards the house. Not wanting them to find the empty bowl of candy, he doubled back and left some of his own good candy, a few different flavors of Skittles and a Snickers bar, for the next group of kids. Hayden later recalled that he did not even think that there was a camera watching him. He thought that the Robertsons had made it up to deter the kids from stealing the candy. He's pretty excited, but it's kind of shocking, because it's not really anything out of the ordinary for him. Heather told East Idaho News he was just hoping the homeowners would have seen this awesome trick. She is also happy that the Robertsons shared their son's good deed to the world because she is proud of her son being such a good example to others. They could have just as easily posted the video of the kids stealing the candy. It was very nice of them to put the positive video up. Isn't that cool? So good for you, Jesse. And it's always great to know that the next generation is stepping up to the plate, spreading good vibes all around the world, just like we should be doing. So there you go. There's your good news. All those stories will be posted on the Positive Power Facebook page.